It's interesting that chess is uniquely the game that's respected. Like probably out of all, even if you play golf, people could think, "Oh, you're a fuck up." You say you play chess, like, "Oh, that must be an intelligent man." It's probably the most uniquely rewarded game in terms of the way people respect it
Yeah.
in society.
Yeah, we're very lucky that it has this unique position. Whether that's deserved, I don't know. But there's just something about the fact that it's a very, very simple game, but it's still so infinitely difficult. The thing now though is that we're trying to actually make it a bit more difficult for a classical form of chess, because now computers are so strong, preparation has gone so far that the thought of like sitting down at the board and just thinking on your own from the very get-go, it's not there anymore. Anybody who's really good at chess, like anybody can learn the best openings like very quickly. Even if you go like 10, 20 years ago, you could play you could play, for instance, in the Chess Olympiad, which is the biggest team like nation tournament in the world, and you could play against the best player from let's say Colombia, and you would know that they have a certain skills, but they might not have the same set of openings, right? Now all of these, like, there are kids everywhere, and they just like they know their stuff so well. So now we're like testing out new formats. One that we call freestyle, which is basically there are 960 possible starting positions if you shuffle the pieces on the first rank. And basically, like, you start out, you just draw the position 10 minutes before the game, no preparation whatsoever. And you basically start with, like in gaming, a new map every single game. So that's sort of for the traditionalists. That's not like the same game. So like there are some people who don't like it, but for the professionals, it's a chance like to use their skills, because otherwise chess is moving, like it's becoming faster. Like chess used to be an art, science, everything. With the way things are now, it's just very fast, and it's all game, sports, and so on. Like I feel like with thinking from the very first move, you're bringing some of the other factors back as well.
What I think it's really unique about today is that kids today who are coming up are not just studying from books and from coaching, but you can watch so many great games instantaneously anytime you want. This is what's so unique about today. And I think it applies to all sports. I think it applies to all games. I think it applies to stand-up comedy as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of the reasons why the younger guys are so good. It's like you get to see very high-level stuff, which gets into your mind that this is how to play at a very early age, and you can be obsessed and just absorb so much more.
Yeah, and you see there are such different approaches as well, even with the kids. Like I had a training camp a few years ago with a kid called Alireza Firouzja from. He plays for France now, but he's from Iran originally. I think he was about 14 then, and my chess coach had like recommended that we bring him in because he said that this is the most talented kid out there. So we have this camp where typically everybody has their laptop, and there's a chessboard in the middle where you sort of and you sort of look at your own thing and then some things together on the board, and you throw out ideas, mostly for openings, but also sometimes other little exercises and so on. And this kid, he would have his laptop where he would analyze a certain position, and then he would play games like for money on that same site at the same time, so that he could buy cloud engine times, because like the very best engines, they're stronger like if they're in the cloud than from your own than from your own laptop generally. So he would buy time for that by playing games like 1 minute games on that server. He would play 5 minute games on another server, and he would analyze with us on the board. And he was still like following everything. Like he had no problems whatsoever just being there. So like it's just yeah, that's one way of doing it. Like he basically became one of the best players in the world by just constantly playing chess all the time and mostly like really quick games. And then you have the current classical world champion from India, Gukesh. Like he doesn't play casual games at all. He just studies his ass off all the time. Um, and he's also like he's not good at rapid chess. He's not good at blitz. He's not good at other forms. But he has made all his studies about classical chess. He didn't even own like chess software on his computer before he was like 13,
Wow.
and he was a grandmaster
Wow.
at that time. But it's interesting to see that there are such different ways to develop even these days.
I just think it's fascinating human beings' capacity to excel at things, and that you really only know when someone pushes it a little bit further, like this guy playing all these games simultaneously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like when if everybody's doing it one way, if everybody's only playing, a few games a day and hanging out, like you'll probably all stay at the same level. But if you got one fucking psychopath in the group that's online and is playing and is reading books and that guy's gonna pass everybody, and then everybody else realizes like, oh, that's possible. I could have gotten as good as him. I better really bear down.